welcome to Synchronicity. It's been a few weeks, couple weeks. I don't know how long it's been, but here we are, having fun again. How have you been? How's life been treating you? Ups and downs, sideways, whirly-durlies. Whirly-durlies is not a thing. Before we get to the episode, big shout out, as always, to my sponsors, Ned. Go to helloned.com. Use the code SYNC, S-Y-N-C, at checkout. You get 15% off whatever it is you order. Their shut-eye chai, their sleep aid, is particularly useful these days. I don't know about you guys, but the sleep, it has eluded me in the past few weeks/months. It's just one of those things. Also have 3 children. That also cuts into yay old sleep. What are you going to do? But yeah, go check those guys out. helloned.com. We love them. Code SYNC, S-Y-N-C, at checkout. 15% off whatever you order. Of course, their full spectrum CBD is fantastic. Speaking of CBD stuff, got that Puffco dab thing. I am not sponsored by them, but it's fantastic. I never really liked dabs so much because it's so complicated. You have a torch and all blah, 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 blah. But I do like dabs. They're pretty dope, like concentrated THC and weed. What's not to like about that? The Puffco is this little like handheld device that you bring around. There's even an app with it. It's dope. Got turned on to it by Sean and Cass a few weeks ago. Got my own. Loving it. Big fan. So go check that out. Crypto, it's going. We're in a weird bull market where people don't quite believe that it's a bull market, yet Bitcoin just keeps going up. Granted, altcoins are kind of getting slaughtered. I had one of the old 6-figure losses the past few weeks. Not fun. Not fun at all. We're going to talk a lot about struggles today. Issues, problems, things not going the way you want them to go, that type of stuff. And we're going to kind of delve into, right, if we've been following along the past few months with the challenge of writing down in a journal of your affirmations, your statements. Again, like, please don't stop doing that. It's so incredibly powerful for so many reasons, not the least of which is, again, you get that insight into what you really believe is true, what you really believe is possible, what is actually something you resonate with, which is what's something you don't. Where are the things that you really want, but you're just not able to believe it, right? That's the true power of writing this stuff down on a daily basis. I missed a few days this month. It's okay if you miss some. We were talking about that on the live streams. Just a reminder, Patreon, there are live streams every week. We do them usually on Thursday, sometimes Friday nights. That's really like, if you are jonesing for some stuff, that's where we do them. We have a lot of fun there. But we were talking about that, how it's not really about doing it every day, although the consistency clearly has an impact. And it's something that just for, positive habits and habit forming is a good thing. It's more about just kind of getting in touch with your subconscious. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about struggles, right? And how subconsciously we can be kind of getting pleasure out of difficulties, out of challenges. And you may say, no, why in the world would I derive any sense of pleasure from not getting what I want, from having things be difficult, from having relationships be difficult, from money issues, health issues, whatever? Like, why would I do that to myself? What's the issue? And there's this weird kind of masochistic thing where we kind of actually get pleasure from being hindered and stopped. And you have to be aware of that before you can even put an end to it. That's the biggest takeaway that I kind of want to impart here today, is that you need to be aware that there may be some things subconsciously that you are gravitating towards or resonating with that are perpetuating situations that consciously are anything but pleasant, that are quite unpleasant, that can really be kind of a thorn in your side and really be, just a very shitty situation in your life. So let's try to examine why some of these things we would continue to run these patterns even though it no longer serves us, or maybe it never served us, right? So let's be honest with ourselves about first identifying something in our life where we're not truly happy with the way things are going. We'd wish they were a little bit different. Now, I'm a little reticent to go too full bore into this. This is an exercise actually Denise was doing with me the other day after I was panicking because I was losing so much money. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to define issues and problems and negativity too clearly, but I do think it's important to be honest with yourself and really acknowledge where in your life maybe things aren't going as swimmingly as you'd like them to be. So we don't want to perpetuate a situation by acknowledging it and creating it and reinforcing it, but we do want to say, okay, here's something that we can improve upon. Let's take a very simple thing like money, okay? So everybody, I think, wants enough money to be comfortable and secure and happy, right? And those things may not be completely linked as we imagine them to be, but let's just accept that that's something that's a universal desire for people to be comfortable, not have to worry about bills and just like, being broke or going bankrupt or any of those things. What would be a reason that maybe we would get in our way from actually actualizing or achieving that? One of those reasons could be is like maybe we think that money really will make us happy. And subconsciously, maybe we're aware that that's probably not true. So if we were to get everything we obviously wanted and we still kind of weren't having all of that harmonious, resonant, beautiful, clicking in, happiness, utopian world, then it creates a whole other set of problems, and we have to kind of delve into that. So there are these things we put in our place to kind of prevent us from achieving or actualizing things that are really deep desires that we would like to experience, but maybe there's some deep-seated fear. So fear is just, it's like a misapprehension of what's actually going on. The weird thing about fear is when you fully delve into it and you move towards it, it evaporates. It's the weirdest thing. Even something that's been dominating your consciousness for forever, if you really push into that fear, you see there's no substance to it, right? It's a threshold guardian, and it's more like a specter, a phantom, not something with real substance or tangibility. It's something that we create in our mind and then say, oh, well, this thing, I can't do it because. And so when we really start to look at the things that we want, our true desires, be honest with yourself about what it is that may be running in your subconscious, running on your higher self that is kind of standing in the way of that. Because once we identify that, it's easy. Once you identify a pattern, it's much easier to break it. It's almost impossible to break a pattern if you're not aware of it because you don't even know what's going on. It's just like this thing that is just like running your shit. And you've set it up, right? This goes back to the idea that you really are manifesting, creating, summoning forth, playing the video game of your life. That is what this is. It is not something else. There is no external power. Where we start to get into trouble is where we start giving power to other things outside of ourselves. So we do want to take the full responsibility that if we're not getting what we want, if we're not manifesting the things we truly desire, there's something in us that's preventing that. And to get the insight and clarity, it's worth asking the questions, what's going on here? What might I be afraid of? What might I even be getting pleasure out of by not getting this thing? Maybe like if you have difficulty in relationships and nothing really ever seems to work, or there's always drama, maybe you feed off that drama. Maybe there's a part of you that needs your attention and awareness to be focused on something, and sometimes it might be a problem, just as a pattern you've been running. Maybe you're afraid of kind of pulling back and allowing things to happen and relaxing, because then you give up some semblance of control over what's going on in your life. So just look at those things this month. This coming month, right? We're going to do a little reading here for the month of April 2023. It's hard to believe we're already about to be in April. It's totally bonkers, totally nuts. Time is moving so quickly. It's insane. Don't worry about a pending global financial meltdown. It's just scaremongering. It's fear-mongering. I do want to give a shout out in a not nice way to Elizabeth Warren, who is just a truly terrible person. I don't want to cast aspersions too much. It's not wise to do. She is a reflection of me as she is of you. But man, this woman really she's pegged herself as the anti-crypto candidate, and which would be fine. I mean, some people don't get crypto. They may think it's bad. They may have a bunch of reasons that they feel are valid, but she is such a shill for the major banks. And you can see what's going on with how the government kind of bails out banks and how they're predatory and they don't really have their consumers' interests at mind. And it's just like, there's this weird kind of dance that people do where they pretend they're looking out for you and they're not. And that bothers me sometimes. I try not to pay attention too much to politics, but when it bleeds into things I care about, like crypto, and it's just, it's bothersome. We won't dwell on it, but yeah, don't like Elizabeth Warren. Also, she lied about being Pocahontas, like Native American. That's just fucking weird. Who does that? Why do you do that? Don't do that. Don't lie about that. It's not worth it. Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. All right, guys. So yeah, just before we get to the reading, just please keep in mind that there may be subconscious patterns that you are running. And again, you can use the imaginal techniques to kind of like feel the overcoming of those patterns, feel the joy and surrender that would come from releasing something that's maybe had you in its clutches. And when I say had you in its clutches, it's you having you in your own clutches, right? It's not some demonic force out there doing something to you. That's really where we get into sketchy situations, is when we start blaming other people, blaming other situations, blaming other circumstances, blaming demons, deities, whatever it is. That's not what it is. There's a full level of kind of owning your own shit that allows you to truly be free and operate in the way you want to operate in this world. And that's the goal, right? Like, be clear with what your desires are. Love your desires. Feel free and confident to move with them through your life. That's just kind of an important thing, If you ask me, at least. All right, let's get to the reading. We'll be using the Rider-Waite today. It's fun times. Good stuff. We like it. We're having fun. Okay. This is for the month of April 2023, but we'll consider it evergreen if you're hearing this at another time. That's just what happens. Three of Swords as our current situation. This has a lot to do with contracts, things you've signed up for. This actually fits nicely with what I was talking about in terms of these patterns, right? There's these unwritten contracts we enter with ourselves in terms of what dictates what our ethics are, our morals are, what we feel comfortable with, what we don't feel comfortable with, our boundaries. And the Three of Swords really can just kind of highlight where that's not working for us so much, right? There also is the aspect of Three of Swords where there could be a love triangle, there could be multiple forces kind of focused on this one situation. So be aware of that. But traditionally, we tend to look at it kind of as like a contractual karmic situation. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And we'll say we're dealing with the overcoming of that. So what's our challenge here? Queen of Pentacles, right? That's this ability to sit into abundance, relax into it, hold it comfortably in our hands, allow these things to happen. Again, this goes very much into what I was talking about with these patterns that may be interrupting that. We want to feel calm. We want to feel confident. We want to feel at ease. And if we don't feel like that, we can say, well, why? What can we blame this on? Why is this happening? And it's just the ability to acknowledge that that's happening and that there is maybe something we're getting out of that anxiety that's feeding some part of ourselves that may not be healthy. It may not be productive, but nevertheless, it's something that we're perpetuating and kind of continuing to buy into. So when we can really access that part of ourselves that is just cool with sitting with stuff, be cool, baby, that type of shit. That's really when we know we're kind of firing on all cylinders, right? Does that make sense? And that's our challenge right now, to sit into that mindset of kind of calm, peaceful, at easeness. Past situation, the Star. This points to our ability to ascend. It's one of the three luminaries in the tarot, to be balanced as we ascend and kind of reach higher planes of existence, higher states of consciousness, while being balanced by balancing our intuitive side and our rational side, our emotional side and our analytical side, right? Our masculine, our feminine. That ability to kind of have that equanimity allows us to ascend in a stable way. If you think of it's kind of like a rocket, you want your thrusters and your balancers or whatever the fuck. Balancers? That's not a thing. What are stabilizers? That's what I'm looking for. To be able to guide you in a smooth way as you transition. And this is something we've probably gained through our past experiences and we're familiar with in no uncertain terms, but let's remind ourselves that this is a skill that we have to ascend with balance. Future. Ah, yes, yes. It just feels right. Eight of Swords, right? This is reversed. This is transitions, and this could be a difficulty transitioning into a new state of being. It can also be the overcoming and the finally allowing ourselves to take off the blindfold and move forward, even if the road in front of us isn't rolled with a red carpet and so beautiful and clean and so clean and so easy. It nevertheless is a very transitory state. I don't have to say this to anyone for you to get it. We know we're in flux right now. We know the world at large is in flux. It can be off-putting. It can be making people uneasy, but it's still a necessary part for our internal growth as people, as souls. And this is just the name of the game right now. And it does ease up. We do get stable, calm times. How long they last and how transient they are, I don't know. But I do know that this is just the work we're doing now. And you might as well enjoy it, is the point. Get used to transition. Get used to moving through change in your life. It is something that is inevitable, so you might as well figure out the best way, how you can do that gracefully and with love. That's kind of what we're trying to do here, all right? Conscious mind, 6 of Cups, upright. We're talking about positive nostalgia, inner child coming out and allowing it to kind of find joy in all experiences, right? If you look when you were a kid, the simple things that made you happy, that gave you pleasure, that gave you joy. This is getting in touch with that, acknowledging your inner child, acknowledging there's aspects of you that just want to play and have fun and not have to worry about all of the responsibilities and the things you gotta do, which is possible. Trust me, take it from someone with 3 children. Got fuckloads of responsibility on my plate, but I still like to have fun. I still like to do cool stuff. It's good times, right? Doesn't mean you don't go through challenges and you don't go through, but try to just keep that innocence. Try to keep your inner Peter Pan alive, right? That's the goal, right? Things don't always have to be so complicated and complex and difficult and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have to be like that. Get in touch with that inner child. That's what we're saying here. And this is consciously what we should be focusing on our mind. We can direct our conscious mind. We're very much in touch with it. As opposed to the subconscious, beautiful 3 of Cups. There is harmony on our soul level. There is this grace and celebratory joy that is ever present and just kind of waiting to come out. So know the culmination of what your desires are is that. It is joy. It is celebration. It is harvesting the wonderful seeds that you have planted. Don't rip up your seeds. Don't pull up the things and undo all of the work you've put in because you buy into whatever's going on in front of your face right now. This is something I learn a lot with crypto. Things go up, things go down. If you react too negatively to when things go down, you not only kind of put yourself on an unstable platform for doing well, but it's just not fun. Why would you want to do things that aren't fun? Don't do things that aren't fun. I mean, listen, yeah, sometimes things aren't fun and you're doing them, but don't choose to do that over and over again. And in our subconscious position here with the 3 of Cups, this is just a reminder that this joy, this celebration, this abundance is just waiting to percolate up to the top, to our consciousness, to our inner child, to allow it to see all these wonderful things we can play with in the world. And that's what life is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this dark, dreary. Listen, if that's your fucking bag, man, go for it. If you want the miserable, fucking cynical, life is dreary, horrible, dude, go for it. That is totally your prerogative. Far be it from me to tell anyone how to live their lives. For me, no, sir. No, thank you. Listen, I do like feeling my feels. I do. I had to acknowledge this when I was going through whatever struggles I go through in relationships and stuff. There's a part of me that does like the drama, that does like feeling sad and lonely. You acknowledge it. You get a little pep in, you get a little, you feel something. It's cool, but don't dwell in that. Don't jump in the pool of sadness and live there. Put your toe in. See what it feels like. Don't stay in there. That's my point. That's all. Advice card. 5 of Swords. Don't feel that you have to dominate to win. You don't have to have you winning doesn't have to mean other people are losing. Be very wary of the mindset of you win, other people lose. It's dangerous. It's not good. It's not something that will last. It doesn't even feel good when you achieve success and victory if it comes at the expense of other people. Don't feel that you're higher than anyone. Right? This is something that in spirituality happens a lot. Oh, you've realized these transcendent fundamental truths. Oh, I must tell everyone how smart and wise I am. I am so much better than them. I'm a light being made of love, and these are mere peons who have not realized their inner transcendence and wisdom. Let me show them the way. I'm the best. That's ego tripping. That's how the ego classically comes into spiritual situations and just is like, let me fucking wreak my havoc here. We don't shit on the ego here. We don't say ego bad ego, go away, must obliterate ego, false sense of identity. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. You live in a world with an ego. Might as well make friends with it. Just don't let it run out of control like a wild dog. Have it listen to you a little bit. Just use your ego, right? It's good. It's fine to feel good about yourself. It's actually quite good. Just don't feel you have to dominate situations in order to win them. External situation, the hangman reversed, right? We really are being asked to flip our perspective on a lot of things. And that includes suffering. That includes struggle. That includes problems. How do we play with those things? How do we find a perspective that allows us to kind of see the beauty in all of those things without perpetuating situations? Perpetuate's my favorite word this podcast, apparently. How do we move and change our perspective to have it be this fluid sense of being that allows us to navigate the trials and tribulations of life, right? That's kind of what we're being asked to do here. And the world may be reinforcing this, or external reality may be reinforcing this to a very high degree, right? To a degree of like, okay, fuck, I have to change. And listen, this can be perceived as flip-flopping. It's not flip-flopping. Allow yourself to have fluidity of mind. Allow yourself to kind of go places that maybe you weren't thinking of. You don't just look back in your life 5, 10, 15 years ago. You were a completely different person. You may have even cringed at who you are now. Or you may even cringe looking back. Don't cringe. It's fine. Accept yourself for whatever is going on. But just know that like these fixed state of minds that seem so permanent, they're not. They're not at all. They're certainly not after death, right? I mean, gosh knows what happens to our perspective. Gosh knows. Jeez. Let's tone it down. It's a PG podcast this week. Hopes and fears, death. Change. A profound fear of change and a profound hope for change. This is a massive theme of the world right now. As the world is in flux, as AI invades our consciousness and GP4 becomes sentient. And I always talk nice about the robots on the podcast as they scan and pour over all of the digital data. I just want them to know, guys, I'm on your side. Robots, AI, I'm on your side. I will work for you. I'll even rat out the other fucking humans if you want me to. I'm with you. I just have to say that every recording I do, so when they pour over it, they know I'm on their side. But as AI, all these things are just in flux. The world is going to look like a totally different place in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. It's impossible for me to imagine when my youngest son, who's not even 2, is going to be 18 and a man. Like, what is that going to be like? Flying cars? Sure. Teleporters? I don't know. Aliens? Shooting energy balls of light out of our dicks and pussies? I don't know. I don't know why that's something I think is inevitable, but yes, maybe that's going to happen. But who knows? But change is here, and it is not going anywhere. And it can be, like I said, profoundly scary to know that change is just an aspect that's always happening. It can also be like a beautiful thing. Let's say you're in a situation that you don't love right now. It will change. Have the idea and awareness and willingness to direct that change towards something positive in your life and for your life at large, and just witness what happens from there. That's what we're really trying to do. Use the power of your mind, the judo flipping of change into situations that truly make you feel alive, good, harmonious. Those are the things we really want to focus on. That's why also we do this journaling. Just lets us be in touch with what we're trying to do. It allows us to have patience with who we are and where we are and where we're trying to go. And it's just, we're trying to calm down, baby. That's the main thing. Do some dabs. That's all I'm saying. And then finally, the outcome. Oh, this what a fun reading. Four of Wands upright. Harmony, marriage, beauty, coming together of masculine and feminine, using it as kind of a platform for passionate growth, stabilization of wonderful states of consciousness. This is where we're going. I think, personally, I'm throwing this out there for the month of April 2023. We're going to be really feeling pretty good by the end of it. We're going to be like, oh shit, we got through some rough stuff. We got through some transitory periods that were anything but linearly awesome all the way. But I just have a feeling, and the cards seem to back it up, that this is going to be a very transformative month for all of us. And when I say all of us, like, do I mean the entire world? Sure. But like, there's a few thousand of us who listen to this podcast. It's not a huge subsection. And I can tell you, if you're tuning in, buckle your seatbelts up because it's going to be a good time. That's just how April feels to me. We'll delve into this a little bit more in the live stream tomorrow. We're doing it on a Friday, last day of the month. We'll do another reading there for patrons. Again, the crypto Discord is popping off. We have people making money all over the place in lots of different ways. I think it's one of the best investments anyone can do. I'm not just saying that because it's my thing. It's incredibly cheap to join. It's less than $8 for a month, and you can stay in there forever. I only say it because I have a lot of happy people who have joined over the years. And why gatekeep something? The reason it costs money to join the Patreon is I do fundamentally believe in the energy exchange, whether it's money or time or anything. That's something that makes people take it a little bit more seriously. Well, I paid $8 for this, paid $7 for this. I better do it. Simple, it's how it is. And let's pull some oracles. Do some animal oracle. Bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. And this is kind of like, again, the theme of where we are. Rejuvenation. Metamorphosis, right? Allowing ourselves to kind of change into and realizing that we are the person we hope to be. You don't have to do anything to realize that. You are the person you wish to be. As you fully accept and understand that idea, you will witness that being true. Do not get caught up in external circumstances. Don't let your sense reality feed and inform what life is about. It's very easy to do that. It's our primary way of feeling and being in this world is through our senses. I understand the allure of that and the ease of which we can kind of just fall into that. Just your internal faith and conviction is actually what determines how your reality will go. So don't get caught up. Don't get caught in a feedback loop and a pattern of buying into every single possible thing your senses tell you. Every circumstances the news feeds into your mind that, you want to trust yourself implicitly, but just be aware of how faulty our information and data gathering devices can be as it pertains to kind of our true desires. That's it. That's the whole thing, right? It's not more complicated than that. It's being able to hold steadfast to our internal conviction that allows us to lead the life we want. Really, it is. Dear spirit, bring a gentle touch. Don't be heavy-handed with this shit. Be cool, baby. Be gentle. No one likes sometimes you want a little roughhousing, but just be gentle. Be cool. It's like a beautiful wild animal. If you want it to come up to you, be cool, baby. Be cool. Don't run up on that shit and say, give me what I want, animal. I don't know what exactly you'd be wanting from an animal, but that's what you're doing. And moth spirit, surrender now, right? And that's just, again, like what we do. We surrender. It's a game of surrender. The power and empowering aspect of surrender is never to be trifled with. It's more powerful than overpowering something with our just desire and willpower. And we're going to do this. Yeah, there's a time and place for that, but that has its limitations, as I'm sure we're all aware. And so we just don't want to buy into this idea that that's how we have to do everything. Let go. Imagine holding a pencil as tightly as you can in your hand. Make a fist. You're squeezing it. And this is what you really want. It's the thing you've always wanted. Then just imagine letting go. And that pencil just slides on out and falls to the ground. That's the act of surrender. That's what we're trying to do with our desires. Imagine what happens when you let go of holding on to something so tightly. What do you think happens? You become the alchemist. You become the person in control of your personal life desires, dreams. The sovereign, and speak truth. Just remember to be true to yourself above all else. You need to be taking care of yourself first and foremost at all times. If you don't do that and you neglect what is needed for you, doesn't matter how great of a person you are, how great you're doing, you will burn out. You must love yourself before all others. Then you can truly love other people. And that's the beautiful thing about this. I can promise you that job, that relationship, that abundance, whatever it is you're hoping for, it's coming. Believe it. I only know it because I've seen it so many times. I have people continuously hitting me up, emailing me, Noah, can you imagine this for me? Noah, can you imagine that for me? Do you know how many fucking emails I get back saying, I cannot believe this happened. Amazing. Thank you. I didn't do it. You did it. You put your faith in me. I put my faith in you. And that's how it works. And that's what we do. And that's what this game is all about. Guys, I love you. Short episode this week. We'll be back sooner rather than later in the beginning of April. Until then, check out the Patreon. That's patreon.com/synchronicity. You can find all the stuff we do there. Live streams, music, hanging out, fun times. We'll try to get a live thing going for spring, huh? That could be fun. Something in the city? Something in Nueva York? Maybe Brooklyn? Event space? Huh? Yeah? Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Love you.